YouTube, how is it going? It is Brownie from the Young Zings. Today I have the latest version of my Magician deck profile to show you all today. I took this to locals yesterday and I went 3-2 and split top 4, which is fine. But my two losses were both to Pendulum, the performance Pendulum deck, the Pepe deck. So I had to make some changes afterwards in order to coincide more with that this deck's inherent flaw against performance Pendulum that I learned. So again, with that addition, and then I just made some general performance additions afterwards. So I'm going to show you my latest and greatest Pendulum Magician deck profile. Without further ado, let's hit it. Okay, so obviously since we're playing Magician, we're going to play 3 copies of Dragon Pit Magician, 3 copies of Oath Dragon, probably the best low scale, so I play 3 of him, not just 2. 3 copies of Wisdom My Magician for maximum consistency. 3 copies of Skullcrobat Joker. 3 copies of the Big Man Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. I play 3 copies of Luster Pendulum the Draco Slayer, and I'll talk more about this card later. But the general gist, like, this card isn't that great in this deck because it since it's a scale 5, it only lets you summon 7s or 4s, never both. So I've adapted my deck a little bit so that I activate and resolve Luster Pendulum to multiply either Odd Eyes or Dragon Pit or something else, and then I kill it with Skyark or Wavering Eyes, and I'll get into those more later once I get to those cards. And then one else for Pendulums, I play Noble Dragon, Dragon Pulse, Jian-Kei, Archfiend Eccentric. So I used to play 2 Archfiend Eccentric, then I realized that it doesn't really facilitate your own plays, and it really is just a brick overall. So I had to drop it down to 2 since I kept drawing it and be like, man, I can't do anything with this card other than pick apart back row or kill like one monster. It was kind of niche. This card's a fantastic 25 beater that's a level 7 and a low scale, so great overall. Dragon Pulse, I actually played 0 Dragon Pulse yesterday at locals, and that was a mistake. I used to think that because you played 3 Oath Dragon that you didn't need this card because Oath Dragon was an inherently better low scale. But I realized that this card has applications other than just being a low scale. Not only is it an 1800 level 4 spellcaster, but it outs Floodgate monsters, and which is pretty clutch. But also, you can summon it with Ebon Illusion Magician, and having another target for Ebon Illusion Magician is really clutch because sometimes you have all your Dragon Pits in play, and you don't have something to summon for free. So playing the 1 Dragon Pulse is actually pretty solid. And 1 Noble Dragon for cute Odd Eyes combos. For just monsters that I play 3 copies of Mist Valley Apex Avian. So I only played 1 or 2 of these cards for the longest time, but then I realized that this card's actually a 3 or 0 card because you want to, if you don't play it, you have 0, or if you play 3, you play 3 because you want to draw multiples. Because this card's power really shows when you drop multiple of these. This card really isn't hard to summon. You just Pendulum Summon because you can Pendulum Summon 7s, and then if you have multiples, no deck can really deal with double birds that can just negate anything that they do. It's really clutch. So moving it to 3 was a fantastic idea. Decks just can't deal with the 1, let alone 2. Then I play 3 copies of Maxi. So I was playing Upstart Goblin in these slots before for maximum consistency, and then I realized, and then after talking with another guy in my locals, that there are a few problems with Upstart Goblin. The first is that Upstart Goblins, the plus 1,000 life points is not very. It actually does hurt a lot because there are a lot of games where I had failed OTKs because of the extra 1,000. And since I was playing a Pendulum deck, I was playing against a Pendulum deck, they're able to bounce right back and kill me next turn. Which is, it's kind of degenerate, but that's just the way it is. So I realized that I couldn't, the plus 1,000 was too much. I couldn't play because of that. And Maxi is better against Perform Mage Pendulum, which is this deck's, I guess its greatest enemy right now. Because if you play Maxi against Perform Mage Pendulum, like first turn, they stop. Which is really clutch, and you get more draws off of it, so it's a consistency booster, but also stops Performance Pendulum, which is what this deck really needs. Spell cards, so I play 3 copies of Pendulum Call. I'll play 3 copies of Wavering Eyes, not only because it's good against Pendulum decks, but it's because I can kill my Luster Pendulums, that way they don't clog up my scale. 2 copies of Skyark with 1 Terraforming, just like with Wavering Eyes. I play this card because the effect is actually pretty good where your cards can't be targeted. Your Magician and Perform Howl and Odd Eyes can't be targeted while they're in their Pendulum scale. And you can also, it's mainly just for killing Lesser Pendulum, getting rid of him out of the scale, and then searching Odd Eyes. That way you can summon Lesser Pendulum back and make Minister Prominence, and he won't clog up your scale. So fantastic. 2 Field Spell to 1 Terraforming is the best ratio, I felt like, because that way I never draw multiples of Skyark, which is what we need. Because you draw multiples, you're in trouble. 1 Regeki, because it's fantastic. OTK deck, and then 2 Traps, Warning, Emptiness. Those are the last 2 cards. Probably the best 2 traps of this format. This ensures OTKs. Sorry, this ensures game wins when an OTK fails or is very, very close. Yeah, when it fails. And this card is just the best trap card, I feel like, right now. It's about to get replaced by Solemn Notice. But Warning is essential for any, especially the mirror match against Pepe, against any deck, especially Cosmo. Like, it's Warning is too good not to play. At this time. So let's go into the extra deck. So 40 card main decks, let's go into the 15 card extra deck. Okay, so for rank 4s, I play Majester Paladin, Abyss Dweller, Gagaga Cowboy, Castell, Trapeze Magician, Monarch. So the hidden genius with this, I guess the 2 notable ones would be Cowboy and Monarch. I played Cowboy because I had an extra slot, and it really does. You really need to ensure OTKs with this deck because a lot of decks can just bounce back and kill you next turn, or like, yeah, it bounce back and kill you next turn. So Cowboy's really, really essential for just making OTKs through different means. Just spamming level 4s does work, especially when you play Dragon Pulse. Now, Monarch, it's not the same card as Castell. It helps in different situations. But it kind of sucks because of Ghost Ogre and Ghost Ogre seeing a rise in play. So this is my 15th card in the extra deck, where if I had to make an addition, I would cut Monarch before anything else. But Monarch is staying for now because Ghost Ogre isn't really that heavily played right now. Probably that might change. Utopia Beyond. I used to now play this card. I played it when I played 2 Oath Dragon, and I didn't really summon it. But now that I play 3, I realize how important this card is. Not only for just ensuring OTKs, but the fact that it turns a monster to 0 and you can just beat over with Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon to do 5k damage is absolutely absurd. I really miss playing the card. I didn't play it locals, and it was a huge regret. There's a lot of times where I could have summoned it, and I was like, man, I really miss this card, so I'm very glad I put it back. Rank 7s. Big Eye, Absolute, Red Eyes, Ebon Illusion. So these are probably the most universal rank 7s out there, and these are probably the most powerful. I used to play Dracossack because Dracossack could take care of opponent's pendulum scales, so that way I could just attack with level 7s main phase 2, make Dracossack detach and kill one of their pendulum scales, so that way they can't really bounce back. Ebon Illusion does the same thing, but he does a better job at it because he summoned level 7 from the deck if you need be, or you can summon Dragon Pulse and summon level 4. But he also banishes cards when a normal spellcaster attacks. And that's really clutch because it deals with pendulum scales more efficiently than Dracossack does. Fantastic. Also, it has some dorky combos with this card. It makes double Xyz plays really easy. And then Absolute, Red Eyes, Big Eye, all just fantastic cards. Synchros, Moonlight, Meteor Burst, and for Prominence. So I found Moonlight because it's a better level 7 than any other like option. I want other options than just Meteor Burst because Moonlight can deal with problems, and it's also clutch how it'll trigger off of your opponent summoning a 5 or higher. Meteor Burst does a lot of combos. Obviously, you can't play the deck without it, but the second one never really comes up. Ignister Prominence, also play Lesser Pendulum largely because I'm making Ignister Prominence because it's really important against Cosmo and against Pepe. So it's very, very important that you play Lesser Pendulum just so you can get to this card. Definitely very helpful. And then I play 1 copy of Odd Eyes Vortex. I don't play Odd Eyes Fusion because Odd Eyes Fusion is actually kind of terrible. Odd Eyes Fusion will always send you backwards in your game state. It's really hard to OTK the turn you activate Odd Eyes Fusion because like it's just so niche. Because you send 2 cards to make 1, and the 1 doesn't even do that much on his own except negate things, which doesn't really help with OTKs. The Odd Eyes Fusion, so again, another guy on my locals put it perfectly. He said that Odd Eyes Fusion is only good when you're losing, and you shouldn't be setting your deck up so that it's only good when you're losing. And I was like, that makes complete sense. But yeah, I still play the 1 copy of those. You can summon it with Odd Eyes Absolute. I make Odd Eyes Absolute all the time. This card's really clutch. You summon it, bounce a card, and it's walking Cyber Dragon Infinity, which is fantastic. Go over the side deck. Remember, side decks change and evolve over time, so I wouldn't take this card for card because formats change and evolve. So I would make your own depending on the format that you're in, but I'll show you the side deck that I have for this. That's the best for me at this point in time. For my hand traps, I play 2 copies of Ghost Circle and two copies of Drill and Lockbird. Drill and Lockbird is mainly for Pepe and Magic Spectre. It really locks down Magic Spectre. I mean, that's why it's called Lockbird. Because if they add, it even triggers off Upstart Goblin and Terraforming. So if they activate one of those and they add, and then you play this, they won't be able to search as dominant as of stun cards as they could otherwise. And then you could just kill them next turn. That's what this card's fantastic for. It's good in OTK decks because you lock them and then their turn ends and then you kill them next turn. Ghost Circle is good against Pepe and Magic Spectre and Mirror Match. It's just fantastic overall. Probably worth main deck because you can summon Meteor Burst. 2 copies of Necroseca because screw back row decks and we don't play any back row. 2 copies of Galaxy Cyclone and 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. These cards are not the same card. This card's used for more of like Pendulum decks that run Floodgates, and this card's used for mainly like back row decks. I think I found 2/2 to be the most universal for these two. I don't really like to play 3 of either of those, but great card. And finally, for the traps, 2 Breakthrough Skill, Mirror Force, Scolding, Bottomless. Probably the just covers the rest of the edges of my side deck. Breakthrough Skill because I need effect negation on my side decks because I play none of my main deck. Mirror Force for Pepe and Mirror Match. It's very destructive in both those matchups. Storm Scolding is mainly for the Mirror Match, but also good against Glass Cannon decks like Ignite that really only have one play that they absolutely need to get off. So if you stop their one play, they die. And the Pendulum Summon is vital when you're playing Magician, so obviously in the Mirror Match you want more Pendulum Summon negations. The Psalm Scolding does that and then some. Bottomless for Pepe and Mirror Match. Overall, just fantastic card also against the Tower Knight because, banish that to Deb. That'll do it from here, guys. You can go and look on the left and your right on your screen right now. On the left, we're going to have a Magician Mirror Match video that you can check out. Just click on that picture and it'll send you right over to there. Or if you don't want to look at it, if you're sick of Magicians, you look at the right and you'll see my Burning Abyss deck profile that I had just posted a few days ago. It's mainly for the November format, but still has implications for the December format. I think it's very solid. Very happy with that deck. Make sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. You have the subscribe button on the top. And as always, thank you very much for watching. See you all next time.